Question for theists. What sort of technology did your God give at creation? For example, did Adam and Eve control fire and make wheels in Eden? So this is just a question for general theists. No matter what your theology might be, your religion, your faith, the way you think the world came to be, most of them will include some kind of origin myth. They'll have, this is how the world came to be. This was created. In the beginning, this and that happened. I'm not going to debate the veracity of those claims here. I'm specifically trying to understand what people think was actually the initial information there. Now, this goes into how old you think it is. Some of these faiths are completely okay with including evolution and long spans of time in their creation myths. I remember when I was coming up, when I was still a believer in the Christian faith, I found ways to reason how time would not be the same for God, but so you could have evolution, you could have things coming to be over long spans of time. Now, there are more questions about certain things that I've seen to actually save a lot of human beings, like something like the germ theory, for example, and how many humans have been saved once we discovered that as a species. Now, to have societies and communities that had a certain excess of resources in order for people to sit down and actually think and analyze things enough to discover the germ theory is built on a lot of other things. But now there's some very basic things that we can think of as step one steps of just human civilization, human organization. Things like farming, things like the wheel, things like controlling fire, making basic tools. Some of the things that I think you'd consider to be primary differences between us, the human ape, the human animal, the human mammal, and other mammals. We have seen there are actually some chimps and orangutans and things like that that have been shown to actually utilize very rudimentary tools. And then we have parrots and other creatures like that that can actually say words, can say human language words. They can also make sounds like the digital clocks and all these other things. But we also understand that other creatures have languages, have modes of communication. Some creatures, like bees, I think they communicate through these dances. Do these languages change and differ? But we just see certain developments of certain things. What I have in mind with this question is, what is the basic shipping kind of idea? Think about this as a video game. When you have a video game, now this is something they do a lot more. They ship out an initial video game and then you can download patches and updates as time goes that improve the gameplay, the playability, add different areas and expansions and gear and weapons and functionalities that improve the whole game, that improve the game where these characters are playing in. So what is the day one ship of the actual human AI, of the human AI that your God created, in your opinion? For example, if you go with the Adam and Eve thing, if you do believe the Eden situation, they didn't necessarily need wheels. I mean, they didn't have to know how to make clothing and things like that because they didn't have the awareness of being naked. They didn't have to go places. They didn't have to have certain technology to kill other animals because they were vegans in the Garden of Eden. They didn't need to actually garden. They didn't need to know how to build hoes and shovels and figure out how to do crop rotation and all these things because they actually just had an abundance of food. So is it that when they were actually created, they didn't have this information in them, but then maybe after eating from the tree of knowledge, that was some kind of download of some level one or some base one level information to know how to make clothes or crop rotate or build certain forms of shelters or fish or understand that you can get some nutrients from animals. I don't know where it would fit in on the whole Christian aspect, in the general Christian aspect of creation. But then there are thousands of other religions out there that have existed. There's many people who believe in those other religions and might have different opinions of what happened. There's many Christians who have different ideas of how they read the actual creation myth of their belief in Christianity. So just let me know what you think about that. And that's it for now. This is part of my shorties series where I expand on short thoughts and hopefully engage you in conversation. I thank you for taking your time to listen to this. Like if you did like it, dislike if you disliked it. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Much appreciated for you to take your time. There's also links to our merchandise store where I post different merch up there. Hopefully some of that stuff can be appealing enough to you for you to use this technology that we have today to get yourself equipped wearing or using all these different kinds of merchandise because we are all naked under our clothes. Goodbye.